represented the beginning of his second term.
Yes.
But it also represented the countdown of the end of his presidency.
That's right.
And the reality is, like anything else, you better get what you can while he's there, because, look, come 2016, that's it.
Well, you know, I don't know, and I think some people are missing something here. The president has put in place an organization that contains the kind of database that no one has ever seen before in life. That's going to be very, very powerful, and whoever...
In terms of the Organizing for America that he's now shifting to become a 501c4.
Yeah, that's right, that's right. And that database will have information about everything on every individual in ways that it's never been done before, and whoever runs for president on the Democratic ticket have to deal with that. They're going to have to go down with that database and the concerns of those people because they can't get around it. And he's been very smart. I mean, it's very powerful what he's leaving in place, and I think that's what any Democratic candidate is going to have to deal with.
I am struck by the fact that Meals on Wheels, for example, will be eliminated by this program. I'm struck by the fact that in-home supportive services will be annihilated by this program. What does this say about the President of the United States, who talked about making America great again? He is absolutely making America worse than it's been for many, many years with this budget.
Congresswoman Maxine Waters, in characteristic style, pulled no punches in her assessment of Donald Trump's budget this week in an interview with Cheddar, where she said the Trump budget will wreak havoc on the country. And California Representative Maxine Waters joins me now. Always a treat to talk with you, Representative. And let's talk about that budget, because we now are learning that Donald Trump, who he said he's 100% on board, I've tried to call it try and care, but it's Trump Ryan care or Trump care, he's on board with the changes that the conservatives in the House want. But those changes are work requirements for Medicaid recipients who are already the working poor, and essentially making Medicare even shrink more. They want them, I mean Medicaid, they want the block grants to Medicaid limited, and they want no more ability to do the expansion. So they're trying to make the bill crueler. How do they justify that, your colleagues on the other side of the aisle?
Well, the first thing that we just have to understand and know about the Republican Party is they have never been for the poor and working class, and it's even worse now. With this president, he's part of the billionaire class. They don't care about these poor people. Yes, they want to get rid of Medicaid expansion, and they don't care what that means. They will, you know, cause the states to have to come up with a lot more money that they don't have, and as you said, they want to put Medicaid recipients to work, bringing up that old racist argument about, as it has been described, the welfare queen getting something that she does not deserve. And so what we're dealing with is we're dealing with the president who is making it clear that he's going to go along with the most conservative element of the Republican Party and concede that they have a right to make sure that poor people are not getting too much from government.
You know, what's interesting, though, Congresswoman, is that, you know, when Donald Trump was elected, kind of the conventional wisdom, the J.D. Vance wisdom, if you will, is that he had sort of upended this belief on the Republican side that what their base mainly wanted were tax cuts for the rich and deregulation. And it really showed us in the data that Trump voters want federal benefits. They want Medicaid. They are on in a lot of cases, Medicare or Medicaid. They benefited greatly from Obamacare, from the Medicaid expansion. They want these things. How is it that Donald Trump is able to turn around and sell what really is? I mean, he has a billionaire cabinet that is now openly saying, we don't want to fund Meals on Wheels. Is this just some... I don't understand how Donald Trump specifically is able to sell that to his base.
When you talk to some of those who voted for him, as it has been shown recently by some of our journalists, he made a lot of promises, and they believed him. He did a lot of dog whistling and helping to promote the argument that there's some people out there who are getting what they don't deserve and you're not getting enough. And so people bought into this, and this budget that he's put up is going to hurt the very people who voted for him. You talk about those people in in small towns and in these agricultural areas where they have not much in the way of health and health clinics and transportation needs are not being met. These are the people this budget is going to hurt. This budget has a $54 billion increase to the defense establishment. And how do you pay for it? You literally cut all of those programs that would benefit the very people who need them, the very people in these small towns and these rural areas that they claim that they wanted to support. Yeah. And so they're going to learn, and they're going to learn the hard way. And I feel badly for them because they should not be hurt simply because they bought into his promises. But I think what they're going to learn is not only does he have no intention of, keeping up with those promises, but he never thought about them in the first place. He was just appealing to them, making an emotional appeal to them, and now he is not going to deliver on it.
Yeah, a very wise person that I know by the name of Joe said that, Mick Mulvaney saying he can't tell that single mom that she's going to pay for Sesame Street, but he's telling that single mom in Flint that she's got to pay for the wall. Like, that doesn't make any sense.
It really doesn't.
I want to go to your tweet this week that got lots and lots of retweets about Trump's Kremlin clan. Lots of people, Kremlin clan. Tell us why you think that your constituents, are they concerned about this Trump-Russia connection still? And do you think that the relevant committees, which are run by Trump's party, by the Republican Party, are doing enough to get to the bottom of it?
Well, as you know, we have both the House and the Senate Intelligence Committees that are really getting started on taking a look at what happened with Russia and how did they get involved in hacking our DNC and our Democrats, et cetera, and wanting to know if there was collusion. I've always said that if they dig deep enough, if they do the kind of investigations that they should be doing, that they're going to find that there was collusion. So I'm not convinced that the House committee is going to do very well with this, but I have more faith in the Senate committee. I think that this has to be done. If you take a look at those who are surrounding this president, both inside his administration and his allies and friends outside of the administration, you'll see all of these connections to oil and to Russia. When you take a look at the fact that they all want to have the sanctions lifted so that they can drill oil in the Arctic. And of course, Tillerson is a part of this. He was the ex-CEO of Exxon, and he negotiated the deal with Putin to be able to drill in the Arctic. They all will benefit from it. Just take a look at what Flynn is doing. Follow Flynn, follow Manafort. Follow these guys who have some connection, and it's been shown. Flynn has lied. He's been caught. He did not register as a foreign agent. He's taken money that he did not disclose, and I think it's all there, and we should dig deeper. Yes, I think that my constituents and others should care about this, but this is what I think is so important. I don't think when the truth comes out that even the right-wing conservatives who are defending Trump at this point are going to be able to stand with him. They claim to be patriots, and they claim that they're more patriotic than a lot of other people. We're going to see who the real patriots are when we unveil this collusion that I believe is there. And I think in the final analysis, they're going to have to move away from him, and we will see that he will be in a position where he will meet the standards and the criteria for high crimes and misdemeanors, and I maintain that's where impeachment comes in.
Wow. Congresswoman Maxine Waters never minces any words. That's why we'd love to have you on the show. By the way, you all should be following Congresswoman Waters at Maxine Waters, one of the hottest follows, because she's always got a lot to say. Thank you very much.
The first public hearing on Russia's interference in the U.S. elections gets underway in the House Intelligence Committee in 11 days. This happens as top Democrats and Republicans from both the House and the Senate Intelligence Committees travel to CIA headquarters to review raw intelligence on Russia's interference in the U.S. election. Virginia Senator Mark Warner spoke out when he returned.
A lot of what we saw today was the evidence underlying how Russia manipulated the news, how it hacked into the DNC, and John Podesta leaked out in favor of one candidate against another candidate.
Joining me now is California Congresswoman Maxine Waters. She's been an outspoken critic of the Trump administration, particularly on its ties to Russia. Congresswoman, good to see you. You seem to be playing one note on this. You think that Donald Trump should be impeached over Russia, and anything else, any other discussion distracts us from that investigation. You still hold true to that?
Yes, I've always said that I believe if we get the investigations that need to be done, if we drill down, we're going to see the connections. We're going to understand the role that this administration has played during the campaign with Russia. And when we see that, he certainly will be eligible for impeachment. I do believe that.
Are you satisfied that the necessary investigations are going to get underway, these hearings that we're going to have on March 20th, both the Senate and the House?
Not yet. I'm not satisfied yet. I'm worried about the Republicans who are still standing up and for Trump, even in the face of growing information. And so I still think the call for an independent commission is credible, and that we should do that. Let's see what happens. They're going to do the investigations, and I want the Democrats to be poised with all kinds of research and information to do the drilling down that I think is necessary to understand what Trump has done in connection with the Russians to undermine our democracy.
Your colleague, Representative Adam Schiff, a Democrat on the House panel investigating Donald Trump's ties to Russia, says he's seeking testimony of a former British spy who wrote an unsubstantiated dossier of alleged collusion between Donald Trump and Russia. Do you believe anything about that dossier?
Oh, I think it should be taken a look at. I think they should really read it, understand it, analyze it, and determine what's fact, what may not be fact. We already know that the part about the coverage that they have on him with sex actions is supposed to be true. They've said that that's absolutely true. Some other things they kind of allude to. Yes, I think he should go into that dossier and see what's there.
You say you think them to be true. How are we all going to find out what is true and what isn't true? I mean, does it help that you think so? Because unless you have information that we don't have, that's an allegation.
Yeah, but you understand that I am saying the investigations must be done. The drilling down must be done. We must get to the facts of what it has been about. I don't think you can do the impeachment just because I think or others think, but I think that if we do the investigations, that we will find the connections, and I do think that impeachment will be necessary.
Who will initiate that? Where do you think that'll come from if there's an impeachment proceeding against the president?
Oh, well, if the information comes out, any one of us will have the resolutions of inquiry. Already you've had one that has been filed, poised and ready to go.
But it's still a political process, right? You're still going to have a number of Republicans who support the concept that they would impeach a Republican president after 8 years of trying to get one.
Well, let me just say what I really think about that. I think that even the most conservative of the members of Congress, the Republicans who are supporting Trump now, will not continue to stand with him if the facts come out that he was involved in some kind of collusion with Russia. I think that many of them are strong patriots, and they're patriotic, and that if facts come out to show that he undermined our democracy and he worked with the Kremlin, if he worked with Putin, and if they're involved in not only trying to make sure that Trump got elected and undermine Hillary, and as I add to that, that they're all about lifting the sanctions because all of this involvement with oil and gas and those around him will have all these connections with oil and gas. And even the latest proposal that came out from Mr. Cohen, his lawyer, and Mr. Sater, the ex-con that's been involved in developing a proposal that they took to Mr. Flynn That proposal shows the connection and the involvement. It must be investigated, and I think there's enough there to make everybody want to drill down, and these conservative members won't stand by Mr. Trump when they get the facts to show that he's undermined our democracy. In the interest of having Trump president, who will lift those sanctions and turn a blind eye to his aggressive